kicked out, but you'll have to rejoin again. Okay. I think someone got kicked out of the meeting. Let them join back. Okay. All right. Ashish is back. Abhishek is back. Okay. So today we are going to start our data science first session, and we'll start with a short story of a nurse whose name was Florence Nightingale. So this is a story from 1850s, and there was a nurse in England who was working during the Crimean War, and this nurse is prominent, and I mean, she's a pioneer in terms of how data science is being used in data in healthcare even today. It had started back in 1800s, and people were not really keen about using data, but she's a person who started to push how data is important in healthcare industry as well. She was interested in collecting information, collecting data, and making decisions based on the data that she has collected. And she being a woman, in those days it was really difficult for her to be an authoritative voice. कोई भी अगर वो सवाल पूछते थे तो फिर usually there was she was not getting a response at that time, but she wanted to get some answers. Okay, I'll just explain what exactly she was trying to do, and how she is important in terms of data science, and in terms of data science especially in healthcare. So Crimean War में इंग्लैंड के बहुत सारे soldiers were getting killed. Okay, they were getting wounded and they were getting killed, and there was no track of कितने लोग मर रहे हैं, या फिर ये लोग जो जो लोग मर रहे हैं उनको सेव भी किया जा सकता है कि नहीं. Everyone was at a war, and it was really difficult to have anyone as a resource go and help these soldiers, क्योंकि पहले से ही लोग कम थे, पैसे भी कम थे उस वक्त उनके पास फॉर दैट पर्टिकुलर वॉर. तो उन्होंने क्या किया, अ, एक नर्स थी जो पहले से ही कहीं और काम कर रही थी, उनको कॉन्स्टेंटिनोपल जो इसके जहाँ पे इजिप्ट के पास है कहीं, तो वहां पे शी वॉज सेंट. एंड उनका काम इतना था कि जो भी लोग इंजर्ड हो रहे हैं उनकी मदद करो. शी वॉज अ नर्स देयर. ऑलराइट. And what she found out was really interesting, that people who are dying, the soldiers who are dying, and the reason of the death is not because of the war, but the reason of the death is something else. And that something else is bad conditions in the hospitals. So, for example, if a soldier is wounded and he's bring into the camp, there's no proper sanitation, there's no proper cleaning procedure, the water was bad, people were dying of cholera, people were dying of other diseases. तो वो वॉर की वजह से नहीं मर रहे थे, they were dying because of something else. Although some people already had an idea that this was happening, but no one had thought about putting a number on that, कि कितने लोग सच में इस वजह से मर रहे हैं और कितने लोगों को रियली बचाया जा सकता था. Okay, so what she did was she started collecting information, कि कितने लोग वुंडेड हो रहे हैं और कितने हॉस्पिटल्स में आ रहे हैं, उसमें से कितने लोगों को कोलरा हो रहा है, कितने लोग वॉर की वजह से मर रहे हैं, और कितने लोग बाकी डिसीजेस की वजह से मर रहे हैं. एंड व्हाट शी फाउंड आउट वाज रियली इंटरेस्टिंग. सो दिस इज अ डेटा विजुअलाइजेशन दैट शी ड्रॉट. यहाँ पे लेफ्ट साइड में आपको एक डायग्राम देखिएगा. दिस इज कॉल्ड एज अ रोज डायग्राम, क्योंकि ये रोज शेप में दिख रहा है. रोज के पेटल जैसे होता है वैसे पेटल्स है यहाँ पे. ओके. और उन्होंने क्या किया, जो लोग मर रहे हैं, कौन से डिसीज की वजह से मर रहे हैं, उसको दो दो पार्ट्स में डिवाइड किया. एक है प्रिवेंटेबल डिसीजेस, मतलब ऐसे डिसीजेस की वजह से मर रहे थे जो प्रिवेंटेबल है, कॉलरा या फिर सम बैड सैनिटेशन, वुंड को कट करते वक्त उन्होंने ठीक से क्लीन करके कट नहीं किया, सो ऑल ऑफ दैट आर प्रिवेंटेबल डिसीजेस. And then the red ones are the deaths that were happening because of the wounds, matlab not just wound but severe wounds, or and that they had to die because they cannot recover from the wounds. All right. And there was other one which was some other causes जिनके बारे में किसी को information नहीं थी. More information was needed, so she just put everything that is not understandable into this particular bucket. Okay. और उन्हें draw किया. Let's talk about this one petal and then we'll go one by one. So ये जुलाई का petal है यहाँ पे. जुलाई में जितना बड़ा आपको ये शेप दिखेगा, उतने ज्यादा लोग उतने लोग उस पर्टिकुलर डिसीज से मर रहे हैं, ऐसे समझो. ठीक है, तो ये ब्लू कलर का जो पेटल दिख रहा है ये बड़ा पेटल है एज कंपेयर टू द ब्लैक वन, विच मीन्स मोस्ट ऑफ द पीपल दैट डाइड इन जुलाई ऑफ 1854 वर ड्यू टू प्रिवेंटेबल डिसीजेस. अगस्त में भी सेम पैटर्न रिपीट हुआ. उन्होंने एक साल तक डेटा ऐसे कलेक्ट किया. ठीक है, अगस्त में भी सेम वैसे ही हुआ. सितंबर में भी सेम वैसे ही. वॉर तो चल रहा था, वॉर की वजह से सिर्फ इतने लोग मरे. अगर यहाँ पे if this is a slice of a pizza, then you can see that only small portion of this pizza slice are the people who are dying because of the wounds. और बहुत बड़ा पीस ऐसा है जो प्रिवेंटेबल डिसीजेस की वजह से मर रहे थे. सेम हैपेंड इन अक्टूबर, नवंबर, दिसंबर, जनवरी. वेरी बिग, राइट? इतने लोग बच सकते थे. इफ यू पुट अ नंबर ऑन दिस, आई डोंट हैव एग्जैक्ट नंबर्स बट आई थिंक यू कैन कंपेयर, राइट? इतने लोग बच सकते थे, but they were not saved because there was no proper help there. Okay. After collecting this information for 1 year and recommending some things, जैसे कि sanitation में काम करना है हमें. We need to have proper clean beds. We need to have proper clean clothes for the soldiers. We need to have good food. We need to have good drinking water for the soldiers. Okay. So this is the 1854 से लेके 55 तक का diagram. And this is the diagram which is 1 year later of that, 1855 से लेके 1856 तक. Okay. And you'll see a huge difference here in this. Huge difference in terms of uh, number of deaths that were happening due to preventable diseases. ये जो January, February, March ये सब है, all of these are gone here. Why? Because firstly, she identified what are the preventable diseases and how many people are dying and what can be done. Okay, just by this small uh, information that she got, she was able to save thousands of lives. Okay? That's why she's regarded as one of the pioneers in the data science field, especially for the healthcare. Now you may think कि ये तो बहुत difficult तो है नहीं, मतलब anyone can just go and collect the information and build this graph, but we are talking about the time which is in 1850s. उस वक्त data collection itself was difficult. We are talking about a time when there was a war. उस वक्त again data collection is difficult. We are talking about the time when it was really difficult for a nurse to ask questions. Okay, so that's why she is deemed as one of the pioneers here. In fact, Indian government जो है हमारा, they also give out Florence Nightingale awards. I think those happened sometimes in June this year. You can go and look it up. With that story in the background, let's start our data science journey. We have been learning, or we have been seeing lot of things about data science in news these days. That how is data science important? How is AI important? How is machine learning important? And there's a lot of fuss around this particular term, especially data science. And let's try to understand इसका rise really किस वजह से हो रहा है. Okay? Why is it so important, so relevant in these days? So the explosive growth in data science field can be attributed to some of the points that are written here. Firstly, जो डेटा था वो पहले जितना कलेक्ट हो रहा था उससे कहीं ज्यादा टाइम्स अभी डेटा हम लोग कलेक्ट कर रहे हैं। फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर हम लोग 2010 या फिर 2005 की बात करें, एट दैट टाइम वी ओनली हैड सिंपल वेब पेजेस, जिसके अंदर अगर कोई इंफॉर्मेशन स्टोर भी करते थे तो फिर मे बी सम टेक्स्ट इन्फॉर्मेशन वाज स्टोर्ड, या फिर कोई टेबुलर फॉर्मेट में इंफॉर्मेशन स्टोर की जाती थी। बट नाउ वी हैव इंफॉर्मेशन स्टोर्ड इन अ वीडियो फॉर्मेट, वी हैव इंफॉर्मेशन स्टोर्ड इन अ इमेज फॉर्मेट, वी हैव इंफॉर्मेशन स्टोर्ड in a text as a document format, and many other formats that we don't even know of all the formats right now. सेंसर की इंफॉर्मेशंस, पहले सेंसर्स उतने यूज नहीं करते थे, करेक्ट? सो देयर हैज बीन एक्सप्लोजन ऑफ डेटा, एंड this explosion of data can be attributed one of the reasons why the data science has been exploded in recent future. अब ये डेटा कलेक्ट करके करना क्या है? There has to be someone to analyze this. Who is that someone to analyze this? They had to hire data analyst, they have to hire data scientist to do this work for them. और ये, when I talk about this data is really complex. ठीक है, सेंसस का डेटा अगर किसी ने देखा होगा, you'll know that कितना कॉम्प्लेक्स होता है वो डेटा। अगर किसी ने प्रोडक्शन लाइन देखी होगी कोई इंडस्ट्री में, starting from start, when the raw material goes into the production line until when the end product comes out, इतने सारे स्टेप्स होते हैं, इतने सारे पार्ट्स होते हैं मशीन्स के जो काम कर रहे हैं एक साथ। यू कैनॉट इवन इमेजिन the the information that can be stored, or the information that can be captured during that particular process. And that's just an example of a production system. Imagine how much information can be stored during like multiple of such production units and so on. Okay. Similarly, online transactions. इतने सारे online transactions होते हैं nowadays. There's very few places where they don't have online transactions. Everyone usually have an online transaction present. You may have experienced that in terms of UPI. Right? No one does any cash money these days. सब लोग UPI करते हैं. Second is advancement in computing power. पहले जो कंप्यूटर्स थे उनकी कंप्यूटिंग पावर या फिर कंप्यूटिंग स्पीड उतनी ज्यादा नहीं थी, बट इन रीसेंट फ्यूचर बहुत एक्सपोनेंशियली ग्रो हुई है कंप्यूटिंग पावर, और वो चीपर भी हुआ है. इफ यू वांट टू बाय अ रैम इन द अर्लियर डेज इन 2000 or 2010 and all, it was expensive, but nowadays you can get it for pretty decent amount. Same goes for the computers, same goes for processors and all of that. Another reason is जो ओपन सोर्स टूल्स थे वो बहुत लिमिटेड थे पहले. ओपन सोर्स टूल्स का मतलब होता है कोई ऐसा टूल जो कम्युनिटी ने सबने साथ में आके मिलके बनाया हुआ है. ओके. वैसे बहुत कम टूल्स थे. ये बनाते क्यों है कम्युनिटी वाले लोग? ताकि उनको फायदा हो, या फिर उनके जैसे जो भी बाकी डेवलपर्स है उन सबका फायदा हो. ऐसे ओपन सोर्स प्रोजेक्ट्स होते रहते हैं, पहले होता था. If you are from IT background, you may have learned about Linux, which is very famous open source project. Another reason is the business value and getting the competitive advantage. No one wants to be in a business where they're not using the data and gaining the competitive advantage. अगर मेरा competition ही data use करके decisions बना रहा है या फिर ले रहा है, I'm going to be left behind. So I'm compelled या फिर forced to keep up or get out of the business. अगर मैं नहीं करता हूं तो I'll be out of the business. So there's no escape from this particular thing, which is doing the using the data, capturing the data. Many companies buy the data from third party, and this buying the data is not cheap. बहुत expensive licenses होते हैं उसके. Okay, to gain a little competitive advantage over over the competitors, and that little competitive advantage is enough for them to make billions. Finally, AI and automation. You have learned about you have seen AI work. If you have seen ChatGPT, if you have seen any of the robots that you've seen these days, so all of that are artificial intelligence, or some modification of data science and machine learning algorithms. Automation का मतलब होता है anything that you see which is done automatically these days. Production line is another good example of that. Earlier, people used to uh, take one part, join by their hands, then move it to the next person. फिर वो कुछ और part join करेगा, फिर आगे भेजेगा. But now everything is automated. You're just given material, and your car will be outside of the production line in maybe a couple of hours with all the parts fit in. Okay? These are some of the reasons why there has been rise in data science. I can just ask maybe if there's something that I have missed and you guys would like to contribute or you आपको कुछ add करना है इसमें. What do you think? What is the reason that the data science field has received so much rise or exponential growth in these days? You can put in the comments or you can just unmute yourself and ask. Unmute yourself and tell. Anyone? So we have to get into a habit of speaking in the meetings. Okay. All right. We'll maybe we'll continue and then we'll come back again. If there are, we'll try to make you all start speaking in the meetings. Okay. There's someone waiting in the room here. Yes. So here again, we are talking about the same things. Oh, we're just saying how companies have been started using that information. It's not just the companies, even the political parties have started using the information or data for their benefits. And there's a lot of third party data that is being captured, that is being sold outside. Example, अगर कोई party होगी जिसको election campaign बनाना है, they have to have the data so that they can cater or they can create a election campaign in such a way that it can be helpful for them to gain more votes, right? So they need to buy that data or they need to have their own people analyze, या फिर they need to have their own people go and collect the data outside. Correct? What all places do we create the data? और कहाँ कहाँ पे आपको दिखा है कि बहुत ज्यादा डेटा प्रेजेंट है ये फील्ड में? स्टॉक मार्केट में बहुत ज्यादा डेटा है, राइट? ऑल द टिक्स दैट वी सी, एवरी ट्रांजैक्शन दैट इज मेड. फाइनेंशियल मार्केट्स में बहुत सारे ट्रांजैक्शंस होते हैं तो डेटा जनरेटेड देयर. व्हाट ऑल प्लेसेस? आप लोग कमेंट कर सकते हो वहाँ पे, चैट में यहाँ पे. यस, अभिषेक, अजय, आकांक्षा, आयुष, ओम, वैभव, कहाँ कहाँ पे आपको लगता है कि बहुत सारा डेटा कलेक्ट हो रहा है या फिर बहुत सारा डेटा जनरेट हो रहा है?
सोशल मीडिया पर जैसे इंस्टाग्राम, फेसबुक.
Correct. Social media generates a lot of information, lot of data is being collected. Even a minute mouse over या फिर mouse click, they even track those transactions or they track those interactions with the websites, and they collect a lot of information because social media has used the data since the beginning of it.
हेल्थ
Games,
सेक्टर में
uh, sorry, I didn't get you.
हेल्थ सेक्टर में भी यूज हो रहा है सर.
Health sector में, correct. Healthcare में, सारे पेशेंट्स की इंफॉर्मेशन स्टोर होती है। इनफैक्ट ऐसे हॉस्पिटल से जो ऑपरेशंस रिसर्च करके एक फील्ड है जहाँ पे they try to optimize the beds that they use in the hospitals such that more number of patients can be brought in, and more number of students, more number of patients can be served. Okay, they try to make their operations as in not the operation theater, I'm saying operations as in they try to make the way their daily operations work as smoothly as possible. Okay, मेडिकल कंडीशंस लाइक कोरोना में बहुत सारा इंफॉर्मेशन लॉस्ट भी हुआ था और बहुत सारा इंफॉर्मेशन कलेक्ट भी किया गया था, करेक्ट। इन एजुकेशन, एब्सोल्युटली, स्टूडेंट्स के बारे में अभी पहले जितनी इंफॉर्मेशन होती थी उससे कई ज़्यादा इंफॉर्मेशन स्टूडेंट्स की कैप्चर की जा रही है, जैसे कि स्टूडेंट के अटेंशन कितना दे रहे हैं वो लोग क्लासेस में, और फिर उसके बाद में स्टूडेंट्स के बहुत सारे अलग अलग तरह के स्कोर्स निकाले जाते हैं, और वो सारा स्कोर वो लोग एनालाइज करके दे ट्राई टू बेनिफिट as much as possible so that the student can also be guided in such a way that they can uh, they can be good in the class. What R&D sector, any R&D sectors, there's a lot of information that is being captured. It was happening earlier too, लेकिन पहले के जमाने में कैसे होता था, they used to have a pen and paper and they were collecting all that information, and most of the times pen and paper वाला information lost हो जाता है. You have to digitize it so that it can stay for longer. Digital information भी lost हो जाता है, but you can have multiple ways of keeping a backup. It's easier to store, it's easier to share, it's easier to back up, and so on. In office itself, right? So there are many places where data is being generated, data is being collected. So there are a lot of opportunities that many companies have seen, and they have realized about those opportunities, and they have also worked on those opportunities to become better. Especially social network wale websites, you won't believe how much data they collect. They collect the data from directly their websites. They also collect the data from the third party people. They buy the information about you, and we'll see about one example how much data they collect basically, and they try to exploit as much as it they can from you, from the data that they collect, which is a good thing for the company. Sometimes it's a bad thing. So there's also an ethical point of view for data science, which we are going to cover in in this course. Not in this session, but in next few sessions we'll have that covered. So let's look at this diagram or chart that we have. On the left side, row wise, you will see company name and how much they know about you, or how much personal information is being collected by that particular website. और यहाँ पे राइट साइड में आपको पर्सनल इंफॉर्मेशन का मतलब क्या क्या है वो सब कुछ लिखा हुआ है. ईमेल एड्रेस, नाम, एज, जेंडर, sexual orientation, marital status, race, religious belief, job title, about your pets, about your landline number, about your mother's name, about your height, weight, interest. So this is lot of information about one person. Okay, it's like a blueprint of a person. Only thing that is not present here may be your bank details, but they also have their salary. Oh, they also have your bank details here. Some of them collect the bank details as well, which social security and all of that information. Correct. So as you can see, your Facebook collects almost 70% of the personal information. So they know a lot about you. All right. Now, like I said, it's good for the company. They use it for their benefit. They exploit it. And even if they don't do it, someone else will do it. So they will do it. There is also ethical point of view कि ये data collect करके वो लोग कैसे हमें मैनिपुलेट करने की कोशिश करते हैं. बट वी आर नॉट गोइंग टू टॉक अबाउट एथिक्स राइट नाउ. वी आर जस्ट गोइंग टू अंडरस्टैंड कि हाउ दिस डेटा इज बीइंग कलेक्टेड, या फिर हाउ मच दिस डेटा इज गेटिंग कलेक्टेड एंड हाउ these companies are benefiting. And these are all big names that you see here: Facebook, Instagram, Tinder, Grindr, Uber, Strava, Tesco, Spotify, Credit Karma, Netflix. ये सारे बड़े बड़े नाम हैं. Okay, so these, and in addition to this, there are other thousands of websites, thousands of places where the data is getting collected. They just, ये तो उनके वेबसाइट से कलेक्ट कर रहे हैं, but what if they also have other places from where they can generate or collect the information, they can buy the information. Okay, so this is just an example how these companies, how much information does these companies have about you or us. And as a data scientist and as a data analyst, you have to understand all of this thing, because you have to think critically about the problems that you're going to solve, or you have to think critically about data in general. Many times this seems really scary in terms of how much information they're collecting about us, but uh, it's part of the game. If they don't do it, someone else will do it and they'll be out of the business. All right, any questions still here? How many of you felt ki you have thought about buying something and then it came up in your recommendations list directly, either on Facebook, Instagram, Google, somewhere? किसके साथ नहीं हुआ ये? It happens to me many times. I just think about it. I don't even search about it. But they somehow figure it out that I'm going to need this and they start sending the notifications. How many of you felt that?
अभी सर हो रहा है, फ्लिपकार्ट पे चल रहा है सेल, तो होने वाला है, सही हो रहा है.
Correct. So we have experiencing that, right? And all of that is part of recommendation systems. All of that is part of the human behavior. So all the data that they collect, they use that information to find underlying patterns, and that is what we are going to learn in this course. How are those underlying patterns identified? How does the recommendation system work? How does the classification work? How does the algorithm know if this person is going to buy this product or not? So all of that we are going to learn in this course. Okay, we're not going to look at it as a black box, but we're going to open the box and see inside how it exactly works. Okay? That's why I keep saying that data science is one of the most interesting fields, because you will be always exploring new things, you'll be always learning new things. Okay, all right, I wanted to start this type of analytics, but I think maybe I'll just introduce it और next session में हम लोग यहाँ से continue करेंगे. ठीक है? अब जो analytics होता है, all right, it is divided into four main types, mainly because ताकि हम लोग कौन सा एनालिसिस कर रहा है वो समझ में आया, फिर वो इजीली हम लोग आइडेंटिफाई कर सके. देयर इज obviously some overlap between these different type of analytics. We'll go one by one and try to understand. ठीक है? सबसे पहला है descriptive analytics. ऑलराइट, descriptive analytics का मतलब क्या है? what happened, उसकी इंफॉर्मेशन फाइंड आउट करना, दैट इज descriptive analytics. लास्ट ईयर ये प्रोडक्ट का कितना सेल हुआ, दैट इज descriptive analytics. ओके, आज टेम्परेचर कितना था 11 बजे, past. Okay, that is descriptive analytics. What exactly happened, quantifying that is the descriptive analytics. Yes, question.
Yes, sir. Actually, it's kind of a raw data.
Mhm.
Descriptive analysis means it's kind of raw data.
No, so descriptive हम लोग क्या देख रहे हैं, what are the different types of analytics. ठीक है, उसमें डिस्क्रिप्टिव एनालिटिक्स का मतलब होता है डिस्क्राइब करना सिर्फ डेटा को. एक डेटा दिया गया है आपके पास, वो डेटा रॉ है, उसके बाद में डेटा, कभी भी हम लोग जब रॉ डेटा आता है उसके ऊपर क्लीनिंग करते हैं या फिर प्री प्रोसेसिंग होती है हमेशा. ओके, सो दैट दैट डेटा बिकम्स रेडी फॉर द एनालिसिस. एक बार डेटा रेडी फॉर द एनालिसिस हो जाता है, तब कौन से डिफरेंट एनालिटिक्स होते हैं उसके बारे में हम लोग बात कर रहे हैं.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
ओके. यस. सो डिस्क्रिप्टिव एनालिटिक्स का मतलब होता है व्हाट हैज हैपेंड, उसकी इंफॉर्मेशन फाइंड आउट करो. लेट्स से हमारे पास स्टूडेंट्स का डेटाबेस है और उसमें इंफॉर्मेशन दी गई है कितने स्टूडेंट्स हैं, स्टूडेंट्स के नाम हैं, फिर स्टूडेंट्स का स्कोर कितना आया था एक पर्टिकुलर सब्जेक्ट में. ये सारी इंफॉर्मेशन स्टोर करके रखी है एक टेबल में. इफ आई वांट टू डू अ डिस्क्रिप्टिव एनालिटिक्स, व्हाट आई एम गोइंग टू डू इज, मैं बोलूंगा देयर आर 20 स्टूडेंट्स इन दिस डेटाबेस. सेकंड, द मीन स्कोर ऑफ मैथ for this average score for math is 35 for this 20 students. All right, so I'm just describing what is present in the data. उसको बोलते हैं डिस्क्रिप्टिव एनालिटिक्स. जो इंफॉर्मेशन है जो पास्ट में हुई है या फिर जो स्टोर करके रखी है उसको डिस्क्राइब करने का मतलब होता है डिस्क्रिप्टिव एनालिटिक्स. इन टर्म्स ऑफ डिफिकल्टी, इट्स नॉट वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू डू अ डिस्क्रिप्टिव एनालिटिक्स. करना क्या है, मुझे सिर्फ एवरेज निकालना है या फिर मे बी मीन निकालना है या फिर हो सकता है मुझे उसका ट्रेंड निकालना है कि ये कैसे इंक्रीज हो रहा है. करेक्ट. सो ऑल ऑफ दैट इज जस्ट बाय लुकिंग इन द हिस्ट्री. और एक कुछ तो इवेंट हो गया है पहले ही, उसको सिर्फ डिस्क्राइब करना है मुझे. सो इट इज नॉट टू डिफिकल्ट टू डिस्क्राइब अ इवेंट दैट हैज हैपेंड. इट्स नॉट टू डिफिकल्ट टू फाइंड आउट क्या हुआ है. ठीक है. rather that is not going to add much value to the analysis. It is going to add little bit value. It is just going to help us understand कि क्या हुआ है. But क्या हुआ है उससे ज्यादा important होता है ये क्यों हुआ है. Why has this happened? Why has the sales gone down? Why is the average score for maths 20 for this particular group? Okay, why has this happened is more important question. What happened? Okay, first we always start with what happened. After that, why has this happened? वो आंसर करना होता है. And that comes under diagnostic analytics. Now we are going to do a diagnostic of what exactly has happened. All right. So सबसे पहला टास्क यूजुअली या फिर सबसे पहला जो easiest way of doing analytics और ये easiest analytics is descriptive analytics. जहाँ पे आपको रिपोर्ट्स बनाने होते हैं, जहाँ पे आपको डैशबोर्ड्स बनाने होते हैं, या फिर कोई डेटा दिया गया होता है उसके ऊपर आपको कोई स्लाइड शो बनाना होता है. राइट. सो दैट ऑल कम्स अंडर डिस्क्रिप्टिव एनालिटिक्स. If you want to understand why exactly something has happened, that comes under diagnostic analytics. Okay. Example क्या है diagnostic analytics का? Why has the sales been up for this last year? That when you try to do answer this why question, that comes under this diagnostic analytics. ठीक है. उसको आंसर कैसे करना है उसके बारे में हम लोग बाद में पढ़ेंगे. पहले हम समझ लेते हैं कि उसको बोलते क्या एग्जैक्टली. सो दैट इज द डायग्नोस्टिक एनालिटिक्स. Why has the student performance been low? When you try to identify this question and then try to find out the answers toward this question, that is also part of diagnostic analytics. Okay. Now ये क्यों हुआ है कोई चीज, वहां तक तो ठीक है. Okay. Something happened in past. Why has that thing happened in past? I identified that too. This is going to add some more value. Okay. सिर्फ क्या हुआ है उससे ज्यादा ये क्यों हुआ है, that is going to give more value. That is a more valuable information for me as a business, as a person. Okay. क्या होने वाला है आगे फ्यूचर में, that is even more valuable. And can we do that? Yes. With data science, with machine learning algorithms, you can do that. You can tell या फिर you can predict what is going to happen in future, and that thing comes under predictive analytics. कल बारिश होने वाली है नहीं होने वाली है, that is part of predictive analytics. When you try to answer that question, you are doing predictive analytics. अगर मैंने इस कस्टमर को ये प्रोडक्ट दिखाया वेबसाइट पे, तो इजी गोइंग टू बाय और नॉट, दैट इज अ प्रेडिक्शन अगेन. ऑलराइट. So that comes under predictive analytics. उसके algorithms होते हैं जो हम लोग पढ़ेंगे. Okay, what will happen when we try to answer that? That comes under predictive analytics. Now let me just pause here for some time and try to see if you all understood ये तीन अलग-अलग type के analytics. We'll have more questions on this. Don't worry. धीरे 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 समझ में आएगा. But on high level, when you try to answer this what question, you are doing descriptive. When you try to answer why question, you are doing diagnostic. When you try to happen what will happen in future, an event that has not happened yet, but you're trying to predict if it is going to happen or not. If it is going to happen, what is the probability of it happening? So that comes under predictive analytics. Any questions? समझ में आ रहा है? First of all, speed ठीक है. Yes or no? Is it fine? Am I going too fast? Am I going too slow?
No, sir, it's fine.
It's fine, sir.
It's fine.
It's fine. Sir.
All right, great.
But sir, we need to more examples.
Yes, we'll see the examples. Okay, we'll see the examples. Don't worry. So let me ask you a question now. Okay, so now that we know that these are three, the question is, why did it rain yesterday? When I try to answer that, what type of analytics am I doing? Why did it rain yesterday? What type of analytics is it?
Predictive analytics.
Why did it happen? Why did it rain yesterday? What
Diagnostic
type of
Prediction.
analytics?
analysis.
Diagnostic.
Diagnostic analysis.
It's a diagnostic, right? Why? क्योंकि हम लोग we are trying to answer the why question here. Okay. If I make a statement, I'll say yes. Question? Yes, Ajay. Ajay, you have a question? Okay. All right. Let me make one more statement now. Okay. The average cost of buying water bottle is 20 rupees per liter. ये क्या है? Is it descriptive?
Descriptive and yeah, descriptive analysis.
It is descriptive, right? I'm just telling an average. Correct. What if I say the average price of buying a water bottle in 2015, sorry, in 2025 is going to be 30 rupees per liter. What is that?
Predictive analysis.
Predictive analysis.
Predictive. Correct.
Predictive analysis.
मैं predict कर रहा हूँ
Predictive.
फ्यूचर में क्या होने वाला है. What if I try to understand why is the price of water 20 rupees per liter?
Diagnostic.
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 Correct. All right. And in terms of value and difficulty, okay, in terms of value and difficulty, descriptive is the most easy one. आपको data दिया है, you just have to describe it. When you try to understand why exactly this has happened, you might be able to answer a few questions, but you definitely will not have answers to all the questions. Why is water 20 rupees per liter? Maybe you can find out some answers कि इसको बनाने का कॉस्ट इतना है, इसको शिपिंग कॉस्ट इतना है, इसको फिर हमें प्रोडक्ट इतना निकालना है या फिर इतना मार्जिन निकालना है साइड में. You can answer all these questions and try to say कि that is why the average price, or that is why the price of the bottle is 20 rupees per liter. All right, but there could also be some other things that you may not be that may not be in your control, such as what happens if the supply changes. Will the price increase, right? What did you try to just find out some answers, but you cannot answer all the questions. That's why it is little bit difficult to get the answers to why exactly something has happened. You can get a rough idea about it, but you cannot always be pretty sure that these are the only reasons and there are no other reasons. Okay. Next is what will happen is even more difficult, because now you're talking about future में क्या होने वाला है. That's what is more valuable. Okay. इससे ज्यादा valuable है how can I change something to happen. Okay. Let's say I'd say मैं बोलता हूँ कि uh, the price of the bottle in 2025 is going to be 25 rupees per liter. Now, what if I want it to be 30 rupees per liter? What do I need to do? Okay, मैंने पहले ही मेरा गोल सेट कर दिया अभी. I said 25 is not enough for me. I want 30 rupees per liter और मैं इतने में सेल करना चाहता हूँ. अगर मुझे ये करना है तो मुझे क्या करना पड़ेगा? How do I make something happen? How do I make the average price of water go up? Okay,
Prescriptive analytics.
that goes under prescriptive. One more example is, let's take an example of a doctor. Okay, a patient comes in, patient describes what are his symptoms. Doctor tries to diagnose why are these symptoms. Okay, maybe did he eat something. Now जब डॉक्टर क्वेश्चन पूछते हैं आपको, ही इज जस्ट ट्राइंग टू डायग्नोस कि हुआ क्या एग्जैक्टली आपको. आपने डिस्क्राइब किया कि मुझे बुखार है, फिर when he's trying to diagnose कि did you eat something, did you travel, did you do some specific thing and so on, right? He's trying to diagnose your issue. Then he will say कि don't worry, अगले कुछ दिनों तक ये रहेगा, या फिर अगले कुछ दिनों तक तुमको बुखार रहेगा. He'll set your expectations. He'll predict something based on his own study or based on his own uh, experience. Finally, he'll going to prescribe you some medicines that you take these tablets so that you're better. Okay, what is the goal? What is he trying to do? He's trying to make something happen. He's trying to make you healthy. He's trying to he's trying to cure the disease, right? That's why he's prescribing the medicines to you. So if you think all of these steps from a doctor's analogy, बहुत easy जाएगा आपको समझने में. First we try to understand using the other things, but now in one flow you'll understand कि exactly कौन सा analytics किसका part है. Okay, understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
How can I make sale of my headphones go 20x in next 5 years? ये क्या है? When I try to answer this
Prescriptive.
question,
Descriptive analysis, sir.
correct. So
Prescriptive analytics.
okay. All right, good job. So I think that's it. We are going to stop here. I had to cover a few more things, but I think we can do that in next session. It's just first few sessions. Don't worry about it. हम लोग सब cover करेंगे ठीक से. What I would like you all to do is, for the next session, come up with example of 2 each. ठीक है? Descriptive के 2 examples, diagnostic के 2 example, predictive के 2 examples और prescriptive के 2 examples. लिख के लेके आओ. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Yeah, just take a screenshot of this. I don't have a way of sharing the slides right now because आप लोग अभी तक Discord channel में नहीं, और जो final students की list अभी तक आई नहीं है मेरे पास में. I'll figure out something, but all the slides will be shared with you once you're on the Discord channel. So अभी के लिए बस screenshot ले लो इसका and descriptive के दो, diagnostic के दो, predictive के दो और prescriptive के दो examples next session, which is when? Tomorrow, Saturday. Okay? हमारे सेशंस होते
Okay.
हैं वेनसडे फ्राइडे सैटरडे को.
Right.
ओके, वेनसडे फ्राइडे सैटरडे को सेशंस होते हैं हमारे. तो कल हमारा सेशन है 8 बजे सुबह. ऑलराइट, सो आई विल सी यू ऑल टुमारो.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir.
यस,
Okay, sir. Good night.
Okay.
yes,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Bye.
You all have a good day and happy learning to you all. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir.
I'll just
Okay,
stay
thank you,
around
sir.
for some time. If anyone have any questions, I'll just stay around for some time to answer the questions. Yes, Ajay.
Mm. Sir, we uh, we examined about analytics, but how it used practically? Will you tell us?
Yes. So that is the course, right? That is the course. We are going to go through all the analytics one by one. So हम लोग descriptive पढ़ेंगे, हम लोग diagnostic पढ़ेंगे, predictive पढ़ेंगे, prescriptive भी पढ़ेंगे. Okay. So that is what this course is about. We are going to go in the increasing level of difficulties. Sometimes we may jump from descriptive to predictive, then come back to descriptive. That is also going to happen. But the course is about understanding all these different types of analytics. In fact, the course also goes beyond the prescriptive and trying to make it autonomous. Okay, prescriptive के बाद में भी एक चीज होती है which is autonomous. मतलब ये
Autonomous.
सब कुछ तो मैन्युअली कर रहे हो आप, लेकिन what if you can automate all of this? Correct? So we'll learn all of that. All right?
Oh.
Yes. More questions? Any questions about the course in general? Any doubts? All right. I think so. That's it. I'll see you all tomorrow.
Okay, sir. Bye, sir.
Bye. Bye, everyone.